Hi, and welcome to the Awakening series where we bring brilliant minds together. Daniel is a financial consultant with Equitable Advisors in Lakewood, Colorado, and he's here today to talk about NFTs. So, Daniel, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being on the show once again. Your insight before on cryptocurrency and things like that was amazing. We had such a great response. I wanted to bring you back on to talk about NFTs and get your insight. So Daniel, welcome to the show. And if you could tell us more about NFTs and why they're important.
Yes, I'm excited to be back and to share some insights on the world of non-fungible tokens or NFTs. And really it starts with why they're important. And it goes back to my last session with you on blockchain and the blockchain technology. And NFTs or non-fungible tokens are built on a blockchain-based network, which is, again, a system to manage systems of record, or what you could call chain of custody, for any digital item. So that's a pretty broad kind of mandate, but within how that fits with non-fungible tokens, they're a form of blockchain that give creatives a modern platform to monetize their work. So that it removes many of the middlemen that you see between, let's say, an influencer and their audience.
As far as the digital world, I mean, I've seen a lot of like art being a part of the NFT world. Can you kind of describe how that works?
Yeah, absolutely. And if we had any return viewers, just to do a refresher, and then for folks who weren't joining us before, you may recall that blockchain is, again, it's a seemingly ideal technology for managing chain of custody because it channels self-interest in a way to incentivize calling out bad actors or fraud. And what that means is any type of piece of art, be that an actual piece of visual art or a piece of music art, anything like that. Once it's actually placed on the blockchain system or on an NFT system, the idea is that it's going to, at that point going forward, allow anyone to always know who owns what. It's built on what's called the Ethereum network, which is a form of blockchain designed for smart contracts. So in effect, what it does is it's an automated contract that runs without anyone monitoring it, while designed in a way that the system itself is very tamper resistant. So it's going to be hard for someone to forge a proof of sale or proof of ownership.
So making sure that the original is the original, that's pretty well stated as far as not fudging that. That's interesting. Why would I want to do that?
Yeah. So let's think about this. So, and it really stems into what they cover as far as how does this apply to our day-to-day lives? And it's really about anyone who's concerned about revenue sharing and someone who has let's call it a digital identity. So if you're an artist and you create a new painting that you want to sell at an auction house, that auction house will then have a chain of custody showing that this piece of art was sold to this particular, investor or collector. Of course, we know that people can create duplicates and fraudulent prints, but anytime you create a fake or a copy of something, what it doesn't do is update the system of record showing that the ownership has changed hands. So you can create copies as the day is long, but you will never be recognized as a legitimate owner of the original work.
Wow, that's pretty powerful. I mean, that's never been done before, right?
No, it's groundbreaking. And it really comes from the fact that blockchain lives on a distributed network. Anyone who's keeping an eye on the transactions on a particular chain has incentive to call out someone who's trying to create a fake sale, right? That this piece of art or this song was sold to someone and it never was. There's a lot more incentive for the entire network to call shame out on anyone who's trying to do that than someone could ever pay them all off to, what I want to show that this Beatles masters I actually own, right? It wasn't with the music studio or Michael Jackson's estate or whoever, I own it. And because it's worth so much, you would have to pay the entire network more than the value of that music catalog, let's say. Art is one area, music is another, professional sports is another, influencer marketing. I mean, I even saw Joe Exotic is issuing NFTs from jail right now.
So wait, we need to back up on that one. What kind of NFT is he distributing from jail? This is crazy.
Pieces of digital art, meme type art. And the idea being that, well, he's the original owner of his own content, of his brand identity. So even though he's locked up in effect, as long as he has access to the digital world, he could create something that then could be resold in the world, and it's going to provide a clear chain of custody for all of the revenue coming back to him because he's the actual owner.
Wow. So when somebody kind of like invests in a Joe Exotic piece or meme or whatever it may be in regards to art or music or whatever it is, how do they make out with, that value? I mean, they're investing in that piece, making it more valuable, and other people are investing in that piece, making it more valuable. And then when it's sold, like, I'm not sure how this works.
Yeah, no, it's a very, very sharp question. And at the end of the day, you want to still treat NFTs the same as any speculative investment. It's risky by nature. We're in a new area. There's a lot of new providers out there who are trying to be the main platform for certain industries, for the music industry versus for art. But at the same time, you mentioned earlier, there's no guarantee that the price of any piece of art is going to go up. It could go down or, be worth nothing to begin with. And it's not something that you'd ever want to put the bulk of your portfolio in, but whatever you might earmark for fine art or some type of exotic area like that, it would make sense to, that's what you could safely consider for something like NFT investments. Where you're not going to be, if it's something that you're not following, like it's your second job, it's okay to just put a little bit maybe in play in some area that you like. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's not something that's going to, I wouldn't put your retirement in it. Like any other investment, you're expecting that it'll appreciate in value and that you can resell it at some point. Now, like some people collect certain things from times in history, to whoever thinks that's valuable, they'll pay more for it at that point. I think a really good example of where we actually may see this really take hold is in the world of professional sports, where you have a lot of pro football players. I've seen baseball players as well. Almost every major sport, some of the younger guys are issuing their own NFTs because they recognize the value of their own brand, right? In the same way that they attract sponsorships, and in the same way that influencer marketing is developing, so that they have this digital identity. And that in effect, this NFT will be the identifier for them to receive money off of anything related to their brand.
Wow, that's really powerful. That's like their bank account in a sense.
Yes.
A small piece of it.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't heard this floated around too much, but where I really see it impacting is this hybrid of professional real world sports and online sports, right? When you have a group like, let's say, EA Sports coming out with a new NCAA college game, this is going to be an ideal way for all of these college athletes to actually get paid for their play, which is, we know, a hot topic right now.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that at all, but that sounds like such a hot topic. It always will be, right? College basketball, college everything.
Just the fact that when you have groups like EA Sports come out with a new college or college basketball or football game, and you're actually using the likenesses of real college students, there's a lot of hang up right now around paying college students versus them receiving the education as their compensation, and that conversation is opening up now to the point that this technology would allow them to do that without really much. They probably wouldn't need. Well, they may still need the blessing of a group like the NCAA for legal reasons, but for technical reasons, it's probably already outside of their control.
And that really goes to show how the digital age is like putting us into a different realm, and with so many, I guess, fields like sports, like art, like music. What if a college player decides to go on and he wants to play NFL, or she wants to, get into a different, just elevate their livelihood in sports? Well, their brand, as you mentioned, grows, and whoever put in money, that grows, right? That investment.
Yes.
So, wow,
yeah, it's a way to buy into the brand of an individual, or of a brand is probably the better way to frame that. And then you brought up something about, a college player going into the NFL. I'm sure that's what most of them would prefer, or a lot of them would. At the same time, there's a lot of people who pursue different careers after college. But what about the royalties from the game that they were in, right? And this would allow those players or those brands to still collect royalties well into the future. Typically, most like copyright protection goes for, I believe it's 50 years before something goes into the public domain. As I understand, with NFTs, you can actually set that time frame longer. But the whole idea is still that, if you played college sports and you were some all-star, that people love still reminiscing and playing the game with you as a player, you should be getting compensated for that. And this would just be a very easy way to manage that on the back end.
It's phenomenal. Say, for example, I wanted to put a digital piece out there. I wanted to do an NFT as well and make it, the original. How would I go about doing that as an artist of music or whatever the case may be?
Yeah, so the first thing to look at would be kind of surveying the land of what NFT platforms are available for art, and maybe there's a lot of groups who are coming out with very niche platforms or networks to support different types of creatives. So it's still a quickly evolving space. So if you had a particular piece, I'd want to take a look at it myself, but then say, okay, these are some groups that I've identified that are supporting creatives or artists trying to launch NFTs around this type of work. I think that this shop is better than others, because doing some homework, there's a lot of fly-by-night operations right now. Again, you have to be very careful about investing, not just as putting money into an NFT, but taking the time to create and build this all out, right? There's the opportunity cost that you have just in your own, personal life. You would then identify which platform you want to post that on. And then, it's pretty turnkey with most of these at this point. It's something you could probably get done. I haven't done one myself. I'm not a creative in that way, but something that you could turn around and, I imagine a day, if not sooner, for a lot of these groups.
That's really fast. Wow. Would we be able to call you specifically to help out with that?
I would be able to help anyone who's trying to identify some groups to talk to. I wouldn't be the one to actually help you set up the NFT, but I can help you figure out who the right person is, or a right set of folks for you to try talking to.
That's awesome, Daniel. Thank you. That's wonderful. Well, do you have any other insight about NFTs and possibly what it's going to look like in 5 years, for example?
Yeah, I think it'll be commonplace, that everything I've been talking about will be just second nature, especially with the way a lot of kids are growing up now. Just they're, true digital natives, not just with smartphones, but with this fully integrated virtual world. Where there's this whole blend between the physical and the virtual, and you're going to see not just, I think, professional, like what we would consider professional athletes today with their own NFTs from possibly high school through college or through their professional career and maybe beyond, right? Because a lot of them have successful careers after they're done playing. But I think the other one that you'll start to see is it speaks to like kind of online presence is online gaming. The folks who are actually the teams who are playing video games as a competition, and that being a sport in and of itself. I think that's going to be a real natural fit for for this type of technology and media. So I think in the world of music and like independent artists, I think will greatly benefit from this. So artists being regular artists as well.
So going back to gaming, which I think is really big right now, it's really about the brand at the end of the day. It's their brand that people would invest in. Okay. Because how elite they are in their craft, whether it be art, music, sports, or gaming, or whatever else that might come into play in the future. Okay.
Completely. And just one more note on the online gaming. So that's looking at the gamers themselves as the new type of athlete. There's another side to it, which is the actual game creator who actually built the game. So it's designed to help empower the little guy in principle more than we've seen before.
Wow. I've never even thought about that part. That's huge. Whoa,
who knows? Maybe there'll be, celebrity game makers one day. Who knows?
You never know. True influencers in their own right. That's pretty cool. You kind of blew my mind today. Let's be honest, Daniel. This is really, really cool and really, really allowed me to understand just what NFTs are and the overall insight about NFTs. It's fun. It's actually fun.
Yeah, it's an exciting space. There's one last note for anyone who is, again, considering investments in the space on the tax side of it. And just because we came out of tax season not too long ago, it's still going to be treated like any other asset. So if you buy or sell it within a year, you're going to get taxed at short-term capital gains. If it's over a year, long-term capital gains. So keep that in mind. The same rules apply.
I'm so excited for you to be on the next show. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, thanks for having me again, and take care till the next time.